This time on Low Boost, we're going to go over the most overlooked performance modification for any turbocharged car. Doesn't matter what kind of car you have, Volkswagen, Honda, BMW, GMW, or any type of turbocharged car, the most overlooked performance modification that I see people not upgrade on their cars is the intercooler. We're going to go over today is some personal experience and real world data that I've seen with my Wagner performance intercooler on my BMW M235. If you're into any kind of sports car, racing, drag racing, tuning your car. Yes, can I help you?
Do you think, what's her name?
LS projects, custom resto mods, or anything involved in cars, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. I have over 60 videos in my library currently, and I'm adding more every single week around all the builds that I do with my dad and some of my friends. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. This episode is brought to you by Extreme Powerhouse. Whether you have an Audi, a BMW, a Ford Mustang, check them out. They have a lot of great performance parts, and if you guys go on their website and use my coupon code LOWBOOST, you'll get access to some extra special discounts. So make sure you guys visit them, and the next time you buy a performance part, make sure it's with Extreme Powerhouse and use the coupon code LOWBOOST, all one word. So a lot of people do different types of upgrades to their cars. And in the BMW community, a lot of people get catless downpipes, JB4, MHD, and a lot of other modifications, but the one modification that I see people skip is a front mount intercooler. Now, I really want to stress this. All those other mods you're going to get more power out of than just adding an intercooler. Without those modifications, you're not going to really see a big difference by just adding the intercooler.
I did do a stock tune dyno pull with the intercooler and the downpipe and the intake on, just to see what it would make. It actually did pick up horsepower comparatively to what other cars do stock, because normally they're around 300 to 305 horsepower to the tire.
Stock tune? See, it does it, I'm telling you, impressive. For a stock tune?
Yeah. But once you go full bolt on, which on the M235, that means charge pipe, downpipe, front mount intercooler, and a tune. Adding and having the right front mount intercooler is going to be the difference between maybe 40 or 50 horsepower on the dyno, especially on hot days like we've had this summer in upstate New York, some 90 to 95 degree days. Oh man, your intake temps can really climb. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what my car does in hot temperatures and even on the dyno, and the difference that it made comparatively to some other cars that don't have a front mount intercooler. The first modification I made on my M235 was the AFE power intake. As far as performance goes, you're really not going to get a lot of horsepower by just adding an intake. You have to do a tune along with it. But it did make a lot of cool spoolie sounds. Who doesn't like spoolie sounds, right? The next thing I did before I put a tune on the car was I did a charge pipe. I didn't want it to blow off while I'm driving it, and I really planned on tracking the car at the time, so I wanted to make sure that the car was straight. So the next thing I did was a charge pipe. Then I got a JB4, and with that combination and without an intercooler, I did do my first track day. And while I had a great time at the track, as I looked at my logs from the long straightaways after being on the track for 15 minutes, some of my intake temps were over 135 degrees, and it was only 85 degrees out. I don't want to say only, 85 degrees is kind of hot, but it was 85 degrees out and the intake temps in the car was 135 degrees. So I knew the thing that I had to do over the winter was upgrade the intercooler. So thanks to Extreme Powerhouse, they really hooked me up with my Wagner performance intercooler. There are other intercoolers out there. I wanted to make sure that the car stays cold, or the intake temps stayed down when I'm driving, especially on the track. This is a decently sized intercooler that I was able to install without cutting anything. And comparatively to the stock intercooler that I showed you before, it's significantly bigger.
This is a stepped intercooler with an additional core behind it compared to the factory one. On top of that, it's also taller and it's wider. It even performs and flows about 20% better than the factory one. The welds on this thing are fantastic. The build quality is awesome. And my intake temps on a hot day didn't even get over 115 degrees on the straightaways.
Yeah, that was my time right there.
I went and dynoed this car on an extremely hot day as well, and no matter what happened, that intercooler still was chugging along and wasn't really letting the intake temps get really high.
100% worth it. That's what's helping me out right now.
Now, the old intercooler probably would not have had the same luck with that, as even when I went to the track, the intake temps are really high, and you know, when you're in a dyno room and there's just not a lot of ventilation, it becomes even harder to keep the temps down. So the Wagner intercooler did a great job at that.
Dave from Highline Motorsports was also dyno tuning another car that had intakes and a downpipe but did not have an upgraded front mount intercooler. And even though this is an N55, which should make more horsepower than my car, it did suffer on the dyno and was losing horsepower based on the intake temps. So there's my personal experience with the Wagner EVO-1 performance intercooler. It has made a night and day difference in the intake air temps in my car. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as to what intercooler you have and in the performance that you've seen from it. Don't forget to subscribe, and make sure if you're going to be buying some performance parts for your BMW, go to Extreme Powerhouse and use the coupon code LOWBOOST. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.